Hello, this is Dr. Victoria Skirbo speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And this is the last 2020 election Numerology Kabbalah reading for today. This is going to be on Tulsi Gabbard, who announced on the January 11th, 2019, her intentions of running for president of the United States on the Democratic ticket. So she's looking to get the Democratic nomination. Now, Tulsi is, I believe, the youngest of the candidates. She is just 37 on her last birthday, which was in April. So she'll be 38 this year, years old. She's had a very interesting life. And, you know, she's lived a life that most people twice her age probably haven't experienced, but she was serving as a U.S. representative. She was serving, I think, as a state representative in Hawaii, and she decided to go into. She was in the National Guard, and the National Guard, her unit got sent to Iraq, I believe, and Afghanistan, and she, or one of those, and she was not, and she volunteered to go, and she was in, I believe, both Iraq and Afghanistan, and so she is a veteran. I think she was in the Army. Yes, Army National Guard. She was there from 2000. She was in Iraq from 2004 to 2005, and then later deployed to Kuwait. She was a representative from 2002 to 2004, and then in 2004 she went to war. She was in that Hawaii House of Representatives at 21. She's 21 years old. She was in the House of Representatives, and she hold on, let me see after I read this. So she was elected into the House of Representatives in 2013, and she's been there ever since. She supports abortion rights, Medicare for all. She was opposed to the TPP. She has called for a restoration of the Glass-Steagall Act. She supports same-sex marriage in 2012, although originally she didn't. She was quite young. And she's critical of the U.S. foreign policy regarding Iraq, Libya, and Syria. She opposed removing Syrian President Bashar al-Assad from power. She is against regime change almost exclusively. And I said she announced to be run for president in 2020. So Tulsi is a very, very interesting woman. She's a very powerful woman. She is an Aries. She really is a warrior. This is one woman who has a warrior nature, and she is a Samoan. If she were to win, she would be the first Samoan American, I believe. I think she was the first Samoan American even to make it into the House of Representatives. So she really is a trailblazer, and she doesn't strike me as somebody who doesn't take an opportunity when she sees it. It's very much an Aries energy. Aries are very opportunistic, and they should be. They are the first sign of the zodiac, and if it wasn't for Aries' ability to take chances and jump into things, nothing would ever get started, right? Okay. So Tulsi Gabbard that's her full name. She did not, as far as I know, have a middle name. And so when we add up her vowels, we get a 14/5 soul. Now, 14/5 is on the tree of life is actually located. Let me see if you can. There's the tree of life, and let me just grab this here. So the 14/5 is actually along one of these paths. Okay, it's the path between Yesod and Tiphereth, the moon and the sun. Okay, and so it's right along the center of this tree. When you have anything along the center of the tree, you are a force of change. You are a force of transformation. And the 14/5 vibration is not an easy vibration. It is the vibration of temperance. And when you have that as a soul vibration, you walk a very straight and narrow line. Temperance is the process of strengthening through exposure to extremes, but not getting caught up in them. And so we can see here that this is the vibration of the temperance card. I've known a few people who've had this as a soul vibration, and they are truly powerhouses. This vibration is associated with the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the truth seeker. And so these people are all about the truth. These people they can be very blunt, they can tell it like it is, and certainly Tulsi is no shrinking violet when it comes to telling it as it is. So let me just pull up her chart here. She has Neptune in Sagittarius. That's more of a generational signature, and yet Neptune is your, it can be your belief system to a certain extent. It's your connection to spirit, and so the spirit of the truth, so to speak. Can be very opinionated as well. Okay, so that's her, and it's a 5, and 5 is about freedom. So this is a soul that's very freedom oriented, and yet freedom, you can't have freedom without first having responsibility, which we'll see in her other numbers as well. Okay, so that is her soul vibration. Now her outer personality vibration, when you add up her consonants, is a 30/3 vibration. And I believe this is the first time we've seen this vibration in any of the candidates we've looked at as a number. So let me pull the card associated with this. This is associated with the 4 of Wands. It's a very positive card. The 4 of Wands is one of the most positive cards. Okay, we have this is seen as sort of a wedding celebration or a celebration, and so this is really a sense of family, a sense of community. A lot of flowers. When you see Tulsi, oftentimes she's wearing a lei. You know, she likes to wear the lei, and I was watching her talk about the word aloha, and aloha means more than hello and goodbye. I didn't know that. It kind of means like namaste, you know, like my heart is with you and your heart is with me and we are family. That's what aloha means. So that's pretty cool. But the 30/3 vibration is found in Hesed. Remember, this is the same Sephiroth where Cory Booker had a lot of his vibrations. Had a lot of his okay, let's see here. Had a lot of his vibration. Now, what's interesting about her quiescent vibration is we're going to jump right to her shadow vibration, the 30/3, and so her shadow and her quiescent are the same vibration. And what that says to me is that she has in previous lifetimes worked on this shadow. Okay, she has done work, perhaps even in the last lifetime she has done. The shadow of the 3 can be perhaps too optimistic, or too the 3 can have the vibration of opportunism, opportunism, right? Okay. But there's a 3 has a sort of over optimistic view And because it's in Hesed, which is ruled by Jupiter, so it's possible that Hesed, when you have your shadow in Hesed, sometimes you don't know how to say no. You don't know how to say no. She doesn't strike me as somebody who doesn't have to say no, but I think she might be a little bit idealistic about relationship. And I say that because in her chart, she has Jupiter in Libra. Okay? And so Jupiter in Libra, it's for her, the question is that we need to come together and talk to somebody and sort of talk it out, even with our enemies, talk it out and sort of work for peace. And it's not that that's not something that we need to do. It's just that for her, it could be a little bit of a blind spot. It could be a little bit of a blind spot. And when you have your shadow in Hesed, it's in your throat. So there are some things that she has some blockages here. Okay. Although if you hear her talk, you wouldn't think that because she's very. Her energy is very direct, and she's very composed, and she really knows what she knows. Okay, but she's still young, so we have to take that into consideration as well. Okay, her expression, okay, is a 44/8 vibration. That's when we add the 14 of her soul and the 30 of her quiescent, we get the 44/8. And the 44/8 is, again, crisis, right? So how well she works in crisis will depend on how, like you can see, if there's a crisis and she's working through it, we know that she's balancing herself. 8 as the number 8, right? 4 and 4 is 8. Is an as you sow, so shall you reap. And so she does understand that actions have consequences. In fact, that's her whole thing. It's like her whole thing really seems to be our military policy and how it creates unintended consequences and how do we avoid those unintended consequences. And so she is really, in a way, her major thrust for her, what she has to say about running for president is really her expression. And the balance of, in her chart, she has a lot of Aries. I think she has 4 planets in Aries. And she has her Venus, she has her Mercury in Aries, she has Mars in Aries, she has her Sun in Aries, she has Venus in Aries. And she has that opposite Saturn and not exactly opposite. She actually has her Venus, her Mars, her Venus, her Sun, and her Mars opposite Pluto in Libra. Okay? So who she is, what she values, and how she expresses her energy opposite Pluto. So the fact that she would come and talk to Al-Assar there, Bashar al-Assar, it's not surprising because he would be a Plutonic, he would be that Plutonic sort of energy, right? And she would go face to face, trying to find some common ground with him. All right, so her life lesson is a 35/8 vibration, okay? And remember, that was, I think, that was the soul vibration of Elizabeth Warren. It's interesting how certain vibrations sort of repeat themselves with all of these. We've had a lot of 44/8, we've had 35/8, a lot of 8s actually. You know, as you sow, so shall you reap. In a way, these people are trying to find balance from a president who doesn't seem to have any idea that any of his actions can reap any consequence, interestingly enough. So let me find, this is the 35/8 vibration, and this is the battle-weary soldier. This is her path of life, and certainly She has been a battle-weary soldier, and she will continue to battle and be willing to battle. Now, this vibration, the life lesson here, one of the problems you can have with this life lesson is a problem of anger. So she has to watch her anger. And she has a lot of Aries in her chart, and Aries can, and especially with Mars conjunct her sun opposite Pluto, anger can be an issue, and it can actually come back on her. So she has to be careful with that. Plus, this is an 8 vibration, and 8s are about what you give out, you get back. And so this is something that she's learning. It's also in the place on the Tree of Life called Yesod. Yesod is connected to the moon. She has a Leo moon, I believe. I don't have an exact time of her birth, but I think no matter what time she was born, if she was born on that day, she has a Leo moon. And so Leo moons can be a little bit bossy. Sorry, Leo moons out there. But also very warm, and you know, there are a lot of very positive qualities about a Leo moon. They can be very loyal, so she can be very loyal. But this is a lesson for her, and she has to learn healthy boundaries. Whenever you have a number in Yesod, especially a lesson or a shadow, you have to really have healthy boundaries with that vibration. And so this woman is a force to be reckoned with. Now, she has, she is in her power square, but she's only, what is she, 37 now? So she's only like right at the beginning of the second part of her power square. And this is, she's in a 9 vibration here. Okay, she's in a 9. And 9 is about forgiveness and healing and compassion. Okay. And then once she goes through this 9, then her name Tulsi is over, and then she moves on to her first name again. When you have, like, she has Tulsi and she doesn't have a middle name, so on this you put Tulsi and then you put Tulsi again. The second time you go through Tulsi, you're actually going through the name on a higher vibration. And that first T is the awakened soul. So she is a force to be reckoned with, but I don't believe she's quite awake, completely awake yet. Okay. Her power square is a 60/6. 6 is responsibility. 60/6 is responsibility to community, to the larger world. It is associated with the sign of Aquarius, and it's found in Tippereth in her heart. Okay, so her power is in her heart, and her sense of responsibility to other people. It's also an Aquarian vibration. It's an Aquarius vibration. So there's that Aquarius energy, you know, working for the common good. And she talks all about service, and that you have to put service above yourself. And that's very much the idea of, you know, being in the military and making sacrifices. And the 3 is a number of sacrifice. And so she has to be careful she doesn't make undue sacrifices. Okay, because it is a shadow for her. Undue sacrifices. Probably more than opportunism, because she doesn't strike me as particularly opportunistic. Hillary Rodham Clinton had a lot of 3s in her chart. And whether or not she was opportunistic, she came across that way, and that was a challenge for her to come, you know, to get past. She was very competent, but there was that preponderance of 3s. I think for Tulsi, it's more about making undue sacrifices, maybe putting herself in harm's way in a way that she doesn't have to, and she needs to be more discerning about that. So that's possible. With that. So let's see, what else do I want to say about Tulsi. So she does have, what I've noticed is when I'm looking at these charts, that she has she has 3 of her 5 major numbers in Hesed. So Jupiter becomes very important in her chart and in her life. And of course she has her soul here and then her life lesson in the middle. But again, we have, this is the present moment, this is the past. There isn't a lot of future here, okay? Not to say that she doesn't have a future, but there's less of an energy toward the future. It's really about how do I work in the present moment, and then dealing with the past in a way that she can understand it. And that could be past lives or her past or the past of America. What's interesting about Tulsi is that her Sun and her Mars, and to a certain extent her Venus, is actually conjunct the Chiron of the United States of America. So she feels the wounds of the U.S. The Chiron of the United States of America is 20 degrees of Aries. And we will be coming up to another Chiron return in the next couple of years, because Chiron is moving into Aries, and I believe it's there for 10 years or something. And we're also having our Pluto return as a country. So we have a lot of healing to do. And I like her energy. I like her spunk. I like her warrior spirit. I like the fact that she goes places where other people don't want to go. She really is a pioneer in that. She is in the House of Representatives. She's not a senator. She's a congresswoman. And so, you know, this may not be her time yet, but she's certainly going to put her imprint on this race, I believe. Okay, so she made her announcement. She was actually, on her birthday in 2018, she went into a 27-9 vibration. That's a 9 vibration. And she made the announcement when she was in a 7 period of that 9 vibration. 9s generally are not good times to start something. It's usually about the end of something. So that doesn't bode well for her announcement. When she goes in 2020, she will be in a 20 vibration, the awakened soul. And this is where the 2020 election happens. And we have a 12-3 vibration there, which is a Neptune vibration. So that doesn't particularly bode well for her chances. But I do think she definitely has something very important for us to become aware of. We need to have these conversations. Just like Marianne Williamson, the chances of her winning are small, not because first of all, she doesn't have any experience in public office, which helps. I mean, you know, if we know anything, we know that it helps, right? But the conversation needs to be had. The conversation needs to be had. And it's interesting because both Marianne, Tulsi, and Kamala are talking about the need for love. Okay? Elizabeth Warren is more about the need for us to take care of our people and not have them taken advantage of by the corporations and the big banks, which is interesting. And then Corey is, I'm not sure yet. I have to watch him. I haven't really watched him closely yet, but he's very enthusiastic. There's a lot of enthusiasm with him, and so he's almost like a cheerleader in a way. He has that vibration, which is interesting because the only cheerleader in the group so far is the guy, which is good. I mean, you know, hey. But so as people throw their hat in the ring, I will take a look at them. And I know there's a couple more people. I don't really know them. The guy from San Antonio, and one other person. I don't know if I'll do Schultz because I don't think he's gonna. Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll run. The guy from Starbucks there, but you know. Anyway, like and subscribe, and if you have any suggestions for other people besides this, although this is going to keep me pretty busy because I think we'll probably have like 25 people, right? And if you'd like one of these for yourself, just contact me below or contact me at my website, theseasertransformation.com. I could do this for you. And it's always an eye-opening experience. And everybody who's ever had one, at least that has said anything to me, has really enjoyed it. So have yourself a great day. I'll see you soon.